r/us credit. If there was a company that did historical tours via time travel, what trips would be in high demand?
Walking with dinosaurs.
Excuse me whilst I head to Roswell, New Mexico. I have a weather balloon I want to see.
I imagine lots of Anglophiles would want to visit Victorian England and then hate it after 5 minutes.
A trip to the Roman Empire.
Jesus' birth. It would be so high demand that all the hotels in the area would be full. Wait.
Pre-eruption Pompeii.
Demand would rise and fall with movies and TV series, and there would likely be much more historical-based series. I think many of the big battles via history would be popular. There's also a period of unknown in our history. I can see people going back and studying lost civilizations too.
I'd like to go back and hear Beethoven play. The people who know him today are most aware of his compositions, and he was a brilliant composer, but by some historical accounts, he was a far better player. When he first arrived in Vienna, his reputation preceded him, and the musicians of the day set out to challenge him to a contest to test his skills. One of them said, "We mean to hew him to pieces." Afterwards, the same person said, "Oh, that man has a devil." He improvised airs on a theme I gave him as I have never heard even Mozart play. Mozart himself allegedly said, "Keep your eye on that fellow. One day he'll give the world something to talk about." Seeing him play live versus watching his works would be like the difference between seeing Hendrix play guitar versus seeing an orchestra play his compositions. All those amazing performances are lost to time. I'd like to see one.
Just fudging, imagine what the Anak would be like.
A trip to the Alexandrian Library, before its knowledge was lost.
The lost colony of Roanoke.
Childhood. Why would I want to go to Roman times, or ancient Egypt where I can't speak the language and I'm carrying viruses that will kill everyone? I want to go back to when I was 5 or 6. I want to walk down my old street. I want to bump into my parents as they walk down that street, maybe with me in the pram, pat myself of the head and tell my parents, "He's a cute one." I want to roam around for a day as an adult and experience that time in a way I couldn't as a child. I want to spend a day in the familiarity of my childhood through my eyes now and see what it looks like, to recharge the memory as little by little I lose more and more. Beatles concerts. That's why there's so little high-quality footage.
The German tour. A tour through the history of the region. Start with Germanic tribes, move through the Holy Roman Empire, past the creation of modern Germany, and culminating with kicking Hitler in the nuts.
The life of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad alone would make that company a trillionaire.
Mummy making.
Watching the pyramids get built, seeing how Vikings lived and fought, learning more about the Mayans, Aztecs and Native American tribes pre-colonization. A time travel journey truly would be a dream come true.
With our current obsession with serial killers, who knows? Ringside seats to Jack the Ripper, Bundy, the Zodiac Killer, etc.
A Queen concert.
Prehistoric tours or WW2 tours, people would be interested to see the war with their own eyes or see the dinosaurs.
Fudging Egypt.
I'd say the Library of Alexandria. Being able to go back and study all of known history before it was destroyed would be very popular with historians.
Surprised no one has said the Wild West.
Ptolemaic Egypt, from Alexandria to Aswan.
One that hasn't been said already, and would honestly be a dream for me. 1. Wilt Chamberlain play in his prime. 2. Michael Jordan play in his prime. Nobody played like these two men. I wish I was alive to see it firsthand. Technically I was alive for MJ, but I was a baby so it doesn't count lol.
The theatrical release of every Shrek movie.
All eras would be extremely popular at first, until these rich tourists realized how unsanitary life was prior to the 1930s in developed countries. After that, the 1960s will be popular.
World War II seems popular as a lot of people want to try to stop Hitler. Probably momentous times in human history. Imagine if you were on the Anak and someone said it'll be gone tomorrow, this dog is gonna hit an iceberg the next day, it's gonna fudge you up even if you don't believe in time travelers.
I can imagine how that would turn out. It was nothing like in the Bible. Jesus was no Christ at all, but a Jew, and he ruined it all with socialist propaganda. He should let Jesus in his heart. I am praying for him. Would not recommend. There was no Wi-Fi and the lifeboats were completely crowded. I liked the movie more. Expected WW1 to be black and white, but it turned out to be in full color. Not what I booked.
I couldn't get Hamilton tickets, Sue.
Studio 54 in its heyday, Beatles at the Cavern Club. Historically, I'd love to hear Einstein's first lecture on general relativity, or maybe Day Times Square.
Yesterday. Win the lotto.
1. The crucifixion of Christ, if it actually happened. 2. The moon landing. 3. The building of the pyramids and Stonehenge. 4. To observe one of the Jack the Ripper murders, at least for a few true crime fans. 5. The butt-buttinations of Caesar and JFK. 6. Group packages to see a Shakespeare play at the Globe. I can think of a bunch more, but honestly they are making me sad.
Nobody has said the Big Bang. Come on.
Big demand would be for short-term time travel, like visiting butted loved ones.
Going back to the Trojan War. I wanna see if Helen was as hot as they say she is.
Start a Mexican wave at the Colosseum. Roswell Epstein cell tour.
A trip to that guy's wife.
Visiting Notre Dame. Even if it does get fully restored to how it was before the fire, it's still historically changed a lot over the centuries since it was built.
I'm feeling Pompeii would be popular, so you could see the before and after effects via time travel. If you are feeling exceptionally adventurous, you could turn the site into a minigame to see how many of your tourists could survive the volcanic eruption on their own. If they die, use time travel and save them, saying that they didn't make it. If they survive, give them a pat on the back and then go on your way to see the Anak next.
I can't imagine how disgusting it'd be to go back any more than 100 years.
1. Travel to the USSR during the time of Stalin. I think a lot of people will want to know the truth about the repression. 2. See Cruise on Bismarck. Special for Sabaton fans. 3. A fascinating tour of France 1789 to 1799. Ideal for fans of Buttons Creed, Unity. 4. The play, The Battle of Karansebes. Fun, fights and drunken Austrians. What could be better?
What was that one town that randomly went missing when Europe was beginning to colonize the US area?
Why the fudge y'all care so much about humans? I am going to see some goddamn dinosaurs, or watch early tetrapods crawl out of the water for the first time in the Devonian.
Amazon villagers before they got wiped out.
Jesus would be in the most high-demand I'd wager. Half the people would just want to see whether he actually existed.
I'd want to go to the Boston Tea Party. The tour starts off with you getting really drunk at the bar Sam Adams and friends used to hang out at, and go with them to toss the barrels of tea overboard, then party like it's 1773.
World Trade Center, September 10, 2001. Watching JFK motorcade in Dallas.
Ancient Japan.
Heck in a Cell 1998.
Basically every one of the 7 wonders of the world, when they were in their prime.
African slave ports. Largely so Black Americans can track down their ancestors and find out where specifically they're from.
For me, a Queen live concert. Freddie died just a bit before I was born. And I goddarn love Queen, their music has so much energy. Seeing them live, seeing Freddie live would be quite brilliant, I'd imagine.
I would like to hear Einstein's last words, since he told them in German to a nun that only knew English.
Time to judge Helen of Troy for myself.
Nice try Ubisoft.
The dinosaurs.
Go to the time where Beethoven is still alive and play Für Elise before he even performs it.
I'd personally like to travel with Lewis and Clark to see the US as it was with its untainted wilderness.
Jerusalem, 33 AD, that would probably be number 1, at least in the West.
Italy around 1500. Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and Michelangelo all working, frequently in the same cities. Mostly either Florence for the Medici or in Rome for the Pope.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe and smack that bell icon to stay up to date on our videos. See you next time.